I wonder what will await me if I scroll down. Is it going to be something interesting? Is it going to be something horrifying? Or is it going to be, some more news about everything that's going to right to hell in a handbasket? Let's find out, shall we? Kosei Academy was proud of its liberal arts bent, and its scholarship students in particular were offered a great deal of leeway in how they went about their studies. This was a good thing for Yusuke, because the state of his dorm room would have made even the hardiest RA foam at the mouth and pass out. It could almost be considered the work of art in itself, something like the dwelling of the distracted soul. Art supplies crowded every available surface like an invasive fungus. Paint was splattered on the walls halfway up to the ceiling. Half-finished sketches and canvases formed a perilous architecture throughout. And his closet was used less for storing clothes. He took very good care of his outfits, all three of them, and more for the long-discarded corpses of cup ramen containers that, along with bean sprouts, made up most of his diet. There was a new addition to that noodle cemetery tonight. Out of deference to Haru, Yusuke had eaten one upon returning home, and topped it off with a protein bar for good measure. It wasn't that he deliberately starved himself. He just always seemed to have something better to do. Yusuke has only 3 outfits? Are you kidding me? Does he have only 1 pair of socks he wears every day, and he just washes them and just walks around with his bare feet while wearing his shoes or sandals or... The mind of Yusuke Kitagawa is intriguing indeed. He was seated at his desk now, barefoot in paint-stained pajamas, a single sheet of paper in front of him. Thick sketchbook cardstock, sturdy and opaque. Opaque. I don't know how to spell that. It was blank except for a large black circle in its center. Black on black on black. He'd worn down half a stick of charcoal getting the proper shade. He picked up the sheet and held it at arm's length as if he expected something to claw its way out. Couldn't be, he muttered. And if it were, then what would that signify? His phone vibrated somewhere in the substrata of detritus around his futon. What is detritus? He picked his way over to it, careful not to upset the tottering piles of clutter. Clean your room someday, Yusuke, and extracted it from a pile of used paint bottles. He'd received several texts. More popped up as he read. Inari, I know you're there. There's 0 chance your boho ass sleeps in... Oh my god! Pick up. Or don't. Whatever. Good evening, Futaba. Though I suppose it would qualify as early morning now. It doesn't matter if you... Oh, there you are. What are you up to? Contemplating various matters. Mostly related to the events of yesterday. As you are, I'm sure. Do you want to discuss it? I don't know. Then may I ask why you contacted me? Because Morgana is asleep, and Sojiro is asleep, and I knew you'd be awake, and you're weird enough to listen to whatever bullshit I say without telling anybody else. I see. It is understandable that you would be upset. Though from what I can discern in your messages, you seem to be holding up very well. I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling. I was sad for a while, and now I guess that I'm deciding what to feel next. Beep boop. Futaba unsafe mode. To be honest, I kind of want to die. Jesus. He gripped the phone tighter. You know I cannot take such a statement lightly. Don't worry, Inori, I'm not gonna hang myself or anything. Don't know how to tie a knot, lol. This is not funny. Yeah, I know. I guess that I'm just discouraged? Sure, let's go with that. All of us are reeling a bit from our recent loss, but it is not the first loss that we have suffered. And just like last time, I am confident we will recover from it. We must have faith that Akira remains well, despite his capture. No, it's not just that. It's like, you remember how I was when you all first met me, right? I was a fucking mess. Couldn't speak to you without texting, couldn't come out of my room. Dead mom, bad dreams, seeing ghosts, hearing voices and a partridge in a pear tree. Then all of you did your thing and kept dragging me out to silly crap until I got over myself a little bit. And those are good memories. You and your lobsters. Little lobbies. Their anatomy is truly compelling. Okay, Futaba, you've actually cheered me up a bit by taking a line from the 12 Days of Christmas. So I figured I was on my way to being sorta kinda a normal person instead of the trash fire I was before. And then the last couple of weeks happened. Now I'm not coming to school anymore. Don't want to leave the house. Brother's probably dying. Even my Phantom Thief shenanigans are fucking up lately. My scans miss that hobo-looking douchebag over and over again until he finally got the drop on us. So now I guess I'm thinking, what was the point? Why did I step outside in the first place if it's just into a whole different world of shit? So yeah. Hashtag emo teen. Your brother? What? I didn't know you had a brother. WTF are you talking about? Oh. Oh god, no. What did I just type? What the fuck did I just type? Question mark. I'm done. I'm done. I'm so fucking done. Fuck this, fuck you, fuck me, fuck everything. Fuck! Futaba Sakura is now offline. I don't know whether to laugh or feel ashamed at the fact that I said the F word multiple times. Hello? No further messages appear to be forthcoming. Yusuke sat cross-legged on his futon and looked down at his phone until the screen went black, reflecting his own face. The last vestiges of the rainstorm ran down his window, shiny silver drops that grew fatter as they ate each other. He dialed Futaba's number. The first time it went to voicemail. He hung up without speaking and dialed again. Voicemail. He hung up without speaking and dialed again. On the third ring, it picked up. Why are you calling me? Stop calling me! I didn't ask you to call me! I believe this would be a topic better suited to direct conversation. Text messaging is too cumbersome. First of all, I know that's BS because you got the WPM of a chatbot on uppers. What is a WPM? Sorry, there are a couple of things in this and I'm not sure about. Her voice was fierce but restrained, mindful of the people sleeping in her home. Second, this isn't a conversation I want to have, and if I did, then I wouldn't have it with you. It's a tiny miracle you remember to put on pants every morning before you go outside, so what the hell can you do for me? I'm hanging up now. Good night. He waited. The phone did not disconnect. Are you still there? Yes. Okay. Her voice had gone limp. I'm sorry. It's all right. It's really not. I'm such a freaking mess. You've been in considerably worse shape than this, Futaba. He stood and went to his window, saw his impassive expression reflected. And you have recovered. What makes you believe that this will be any different? A sad girl stuck in her room is kind of a step below what's going on now, Inari. I mean, this. Even compared to what we did before, it feels too big. Even if we have Akira around, I'm not sure we could handle it. And what's going to come after this, huh? We got a whopping 8 or 9 months of everything not being totally foobar after the last crisis. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. She swallowed hard, took a steadying breath. I know it sounds selfish, but I really just want to focus on learning how to be a normal person for a change. I wouldn't call that particularly selfish, Futaba. But I believe your perceptions may be flawed. The hell does that mean? In my view, being normal does not always mean being happy, he said. The raindrops coursed over his reflection's face. You could say that perspective is born from my chosen occupation. Art is the human experience in miniature, and it often comes from pain as well as joy. Our own tribulations are perhaps a bit unusual compared to those of the average person, but it may help to view them as another part of your personal growth, rather than a hindrance to it. Did you just tell me that when life gives me lemons, I should make lemonade? Did you seriously just drop that cliché on me? If you like. The saying does have a kernel of truth. Do you think I would be a better person had I not experienced my childhood under Madarame? That's not fair. You can't ask me that. I am asking you, but you don't have to answer. He reached out with his finger and pressed it against one of those silvery droplets. As he spoke, that finger moved, tracing out imaginary constellations. We construct ourselves through our experiences, for good and ill. I, for example, am unlikely to become a hacker, or a track star, or a cat who is also an automobile. Futaba giggled helplessly over the phone, but Yusuke's expression remained stoic. And there are many people who lack the means to attain the most meager of heights. Those who see the shape that their lives were meant to become growing fainter each day. I was like that under Madarame, I suppose. Resigned to poverty and plagiarism until my eyes were opened. As yours were. Those revelations, that pain, are necessary components of who we are. I do not know what shape your life might take, Futaba, but I believe it is something that the world would be far worse off without. I would like to see it, and so I selfishly ask you to persevere. It took a few seconds for her to answer, and then all she could say was, "Oh." Was that too much? I know that I often have difficulties making myself understood. No, you came through fine. It was the most cornball thing you've ever said, but it's fine. She cleared her throat. Thanks for calling. It was no problem. I will be available for a while longer should you wish to speak again. There is some sketching I would like to do before I sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna spend a little bit purging all evidence of our last chat log from the face of the earth. It'll help me keep my mind off things, at least. Why? Was there something objectionable about our discussion? I won't dignify that with a response. If you ever mention a word of it to anyone, there will be no end to the horrors I will rain down upon you. Got it? Very well, he said, still uncomprehending. Good night, Futaba. Good night, Yusuke. The phone went silent. Yusuke took it away from his ear, set it on the corner of his desk, and then went back to his desk. Humming a little, he extracted a pencil and a fresh sketchbook from the detritus in his desk drawers, then took the sheet with an ominous black circle charcoaled into it, crumpled it up, and threw it in the wastebasket. Right, he said, and raised the pencil. Where was I? This bit made me laugh. It made me mix between sadness and happiness. Yusuke just spoke the freaking truth right there. And I do apologize for having to read all of those F-bombs in this video. Until the next... Not yet. This isn't the end. We still got a bit of chapter to go. I meant until the next video that's going to be released in the next weekend. We will discuss this further later down the line.